Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Aligned. I am so glad you're here. And today will be a fun, interactive type of episode. I can't really gauge how long I'm going to talk. I'm kind of hoping it's short and sweet. You never know. Every time I say that, it's not short and sweet. To me, a short and sweet episode is like 15, 20 minutes. And whenever I say that, they end up being like 30 minutes long. But that's fine because it's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. If you have the chance to maybe like take some notes for yourself during this one, it might be good, or maybe listen to it first and then go back and take notes because I think this information can be super helpful. So, what I want to talk about today are the 8 areas of life. So, I have heard about this concept from several different people, and honestly, it kind of just changes depending on the person, whoever you're hearing it from. There could be, maybe somebody's more focused on like 5 areas of life as opposed to, I don't know, I think the 8 really encompasses it. And I've heard 8 from different people. And it's interesting enough, I have in my magical planner, hold on, let me grab it. I've showed you guys this before. My magical planner. What is this? Oh yeah, it's Magic of I. And this is my baby. But it too, so I didn't even realize this when I bought it. This has the most juicy astrological information, and oh my gosh, seriously, anything, even like if you're new, intermediate, advanced, like all of this shit is so wonderful. Oh, and a moon planting guide. I didn't do that this year, guys. I need to look at when I did plan. I need to read that again. Okay. Side note, I'm like, okay, let's get to, if I was smart, I would have like marked this. The 8 areas of life. Okay, here we go. Yeah, they've got their little 8 areas of life down here. And I highlighted, I've taken, like I said, I've learned about this from multiple different people, and you'll see all kinds of different things on the internet. But I just wanted to share with you like my breakdown of what I've found through. I mean, this was a good baseline to using this planner. And like I said, from other people, I've said this multiple times, from other people, and just like knowing life in general. Just by being a human, I kind of understand some of this stuff. So, 8 areas of life compiled by yours truly. So, this are the really big pieces and areas that I like to look at in my own life, and I'm gonna go through them and then talk about each one and how you can really use this in your own life. So, number 1, I'm gonna name them off first and then we'll go through each of them. But so, okay, 1 through 8, I've got spiritual, love, mental, physical, purpose, health, social, and inspiration. So, it could be a little different from what you've heard from other people. I know some of them the same. The keywords, I guess, are interchangeable, and I just want to explain why I chose each of those and what other like keywords I have along with those things. So spiritual, I think that is the almost like the key. So like I think like so to me, like visualizing this, the foundation of everything is like yourself, like self-love, like the love for yourself, loving yourself, realizing and acknowledging how freaking awesome you are. And so you've got your foundation as like you could put like your name. And then these 8 things are kind of like pillars in my little visual in this little house of you. And each of these different pillars are, very notable things in your life. So, for instance, no, and I honestly don't have these in like a specific like hierarchy or anything. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they're like a little bit in a hierarchy. It almost reminds me of that freaking like food pyramid, like that the whoever was it like the FDA made up or that you're supposed to eat. Gosh, I know it's probably different today, but like back when I was little, I feel like it was always like all these carbs at the bottom. And then yeah, just like going like that. And I almost think this could, okay, now I'm like kind of backtracking because I'm like, it almost could be in sort of a hierarchy sense, or even in that like little pyramid kind of thing. And I'm not trying to want to compare this to food at all. But you could almost take the pillars into more of a pyramid. And because on like the bottom, like the biggest pieces, I feel like would be like spiritual, love, and mental. And then building upon those is kind of like if you've got that strong foundation, the other areas are going to come a little more naturally, I think, and maybe easier. So, spirituality, number one. And like I said, if I was going to put these on a hierarchy or whatever, in our pyramid, in our little pyramid, maybe I'll do a little, actually, I might do a little visual for my Instagram or something, just so we can have it. Because if you guys are like me, I am a visual learner. So yeah, I definitely put spiritual love and like mental on that like big foundation over yourself. So again, spirituality is like expansion, your soul, like you at a soul level. And obviously God, source, the universe, whatever you align with and feel most comfortable with when you're talking about the higher being. And you could even put, spirit guide team in there. I don't know, like your higher self almost, I think, can go in that category too. And like your intuition and like trusting that. Because if you do not have trust in yourself, in your intuition, your higher self, God, like things are going to be a little chaotic, I think. And I'm speaking from experience, like not trusting in yourself can just really lead you a little bit astray. But obviously we go through these things so that we can learn from them. And I love the spirituality aspect of it because I felt like I really, like for me personally, didn't really, I don't know, have a solid foundation within this area of my life until 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Let's say more of like 3 because my daughter was really little 4 years ago. But you may know this, but I grew up with my mom was Catholic and my dad, I think his family was like Lutheran. I mean, both Christian, whatever. But man, Catholicism is real intense. And I never really understood or got it or kind of like felt like uncomfortable. I didn't like going to church or like, ugh, Sunday school. Like, I didn't, it's just like, it wasn't me. And then like when I grew up and realized like you don't have to go to a specific church and you don't have to do certain things to know God, to love God, and to be, you know, connected to the higher being. That really just kind of opened up things for me as well. And it's like, okay, things don't have to be so strict, and God is actually very loving, and it's not the, you know, man in a, like when I was little, I'm like picturing this like guy that probably looks like Zeus or something, like sitting on a throne, like damning everyone if they sin or whatever crazy fear things were brought up. But now it's like seeing it through the eyes of like, okay, just like pure love is very, very like freeing, and it makes you feel good too. Because you're like um having that trust in that, God the divine is going to take care of you in your soul, no matter what happens. So that is why I think that's probably why I listed that as quote unquote number one, or it was first in my 8 areas of life, because I feel like personally for me, my life has gotten on a whole different trajectory, and like I physically am feeling better. And I mean, I don't binge drink like I used to. I don't try to like just space out, and I hardly I don't watch anything new on TV because I don't want to even invest the time. Honestly, if I'm watching something, it's something I've seen a bajillion times, which makes no sense either. But it's my comfort shows. So yeah, I think I love that piece. Talking about that piece first because I do think it is of the utmost importance, and it corresponds with like love and your mental state. So I have the second area of life as love, and this number one with yourself. I think always the relationship with yourself should be a priority in your life. And then you've got like your family, your partner, spouse, those type of romantic relationships, other relationships with friends, and just having connection, like feeling that love. And that love can like spread into that, spirituality piece as well. And feeling like if you're, trying to gather my thoughts. If you're feeling like this area of your life is maybe not where you want it to be, I totally, totally, totally encourage you to look at the relationship with yourself first and loving yourself, because that's a huge thing that I don't think people really think about or talk about. And this, comes into play when we talk about body image as well, and like loving yourself and loving your body, and a lot of things that you do stem from, the love you have for yourself. So if you're lacking in that area of your life right now, it wouldn't be, bad idea at all to maybe, okay, like what's going on here? And honestly, people get annoyed with journaling, or even not, even if you don't want to journal and get it out on paper, like typing something, or literally just like word vomiting, just talking out loud what's going on so you can really get it out in the open. It's just kind of nice sometimes to have it on the computer or paper so you can, because if you really get into like a flow state and you're kind of like almost like channeling yourself as well, you could just like start. If you're talking, you might not remember what you said, and then connecting dots and blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, I recommend paper or iPad or Remarkable, whatever kind of tool that you have to write it down. And then you can always delete it if it's on your computer. If it's on paper and you don't want to see it ever again, light that shit on fire. It's so freeing, trust me. So the third area of life, mental, which is going to be like your mind, learning, and wisdom. And I feel like, the spirituality and love are building blocks towards that. If you're feeling secure in your spirituality, love for yourself, family, friends, etc., your mind is probably in a pretty good place. And, spending some time learning new things, always learning. I think that is so important. And it's probably my Sagittarius rising and my Sagittarius North Node, but I love learning. I swear I learn like new shit every day. Let's be honest. I'm up late at night once the kids are in bed, and I'm watching videos, taking notes, learning new ways of doing things, and new ways that I could become, the highest version of myself, like quicker, and jumping timelines, because I'm like, okay, this, like, holy shit, I never thought of things that way. And I'm very, very pro following your intuition and how you want to do things, but it's also like, it's invaluable what you can learn from other people by, taking courses or jumping into a membership, jumping into I don't know, like a freaking club in your community and learning new things. I think that's so incredibly cool. I've like tried, this is okay. Maybe I'll manifest this if I talk about it out loud. But I think I've told like a couple of my friends this. Lately, I've really wanted to manifest a relationship with an older woman who is a whiz at like canning and shit like that, like gardening, just like stellar. So my mom's mom, my grandma would have been good at stuff like that, but she passed away when I was 16. And so like I'm like, I am on the search. So if you hear this and know anyone that you want to connect me with, let me know. But I feel like there's just so much um value. That generation when it comes to some of those, like farmers are, or women that, yeah, canned a lot and I'm like, not trying to do anything. I want to start small, but I do want to start doing, like, I want to have my own garden and, can things to have throughout the winter and have this whole little, yeah, it's like, that's long-term goals and dreams to just have this like beautiful garden and be like the canning queen and give things to my friends and family. And yeah, secret dream, but it's not secret anymore because it's on my podcast. So we're going to manifest it. Just you guys wait. In a couple years, I'm going to be like, well, look at all this food and produce. Okay. See, my short episode is going to be 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for hanging in there. But okay, 4. We're only halfway through. Oh my gosh. I need a physical. So your physical area of your life would be like your health, fitness, and well-being, which is obviously super important. And I think that greatly has to do with all the aspects we talked about before that as well. So, in a sense, if you are, doing better, overcoming things in those areas of life, I feel like you'll see that reflected in the physical as well, because your body's always trying to tell you something. If, you've some ailments or random things, or like anxiety, or gosh, what's another? I'm like trying to think of random examples, but just like some symptoms coming up, instead of trying to fucking cover them and mask them all the time, why don't we figure out why it's happening in the first place? I had a friend on the podcast who talked about, I'm trying to think of like I don't remember her actual title, but she went through like a bunch of chronic illnesses and actually like used the Akashic records to pinpoint the root of those ailments in her life. And now she's fine and she helps other women do the same. I'm going to link her stuff in the notes just so we have it. And I'll probably link that episode too, honestly. I'll link the episode, then you can get to her stuff. But I think that's so important because I firmly believe that a lot of pain points and a lot of things in our body is like stuck trauma or energy that needs to be gone. It needs to get gone. And the same kind of idea goes for like excess weight too. If there's just like weight you cannot seem to get rid of or you're holding on to, it's probably due to, like stress or some sort of situation in your life that you don't even realize that's what it's stemming from, because you've done all the things, you exercise, you eat right, and blah, 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 and nothing's changing. And maybe it has a little bit to do with your mind too. If you don't love your body first the way it is now, you are never going to change it through like a hateful lens or anything. And I've learned that from experience as well. So yeah, your physical health is super, super important. And I believe it stems from some of those other things we just talked about. 5 is purpose. So this is a category that I have with things like your heart-led career, contribution, and service to like the collective. This category, I think a lot of people will say like work or career. And honestly, I didn't really have that. That's not really, because well, I mentioned them before, and the other ones don't really have to do with your quote unquote career because, okay, sorry, I'm adjusting. Because I did the career route and the things I was supposed to do and the things that didn't light me up, and it was just, yeah, I'm like, it wasn't for me, and I always knew it at some level. And when I finally started going down the path of more like a heart-led career, just feels so much better and I get excited about doing things. And even in my muggle job. So like I'm not saying like your purpose doesn't have to be to start a yoga studio, or when I say heart-led, it doesn't have to do anything with spirituality. It could be, you could be a whiz at freaking numbers and you're like, you love accounting and that's like your jam and that's what you do and that is your purpose and heart-led career. And maybe there are other things that you are contributing to society in other ways too. Like you can have that corporate job or the 9 to 5. Like, I am in no way, because that wasn't for me. That doesn't mean it's not for other people. But if you're listening to this, I have a feeling like you might be contemplating or on a similar path that I have been on. So that's why I think it's so important to say like heart-led career instead of just like career job work. So we don't want that here. We want you to be very heart-led and just loving what you do and it lights you up. Yay. The sixth one I have listed is wealth, which would be like financial goals, assets, and resources. And honestly, your health could be a little bit of your wealth too. Wealth is not just money, it is not just those things. Like, it's not literally just your bank account. It could be, yeah, like other resources too. Or, if you've got, this comes to mind, but like family members who watch your kids or your dog, maybe or like neighbors or friends that help take care of, your family when something's going on, or other assets like owning homes. Shout out to the realtors out there. Stocks, gold, silver, I don't know, like other things too. It's not just like money. And your biggest asset is your time. And being able to grow the time that you have to do things for yourself and your family is just like, I can't even think of the word. I'm just like, being able to grow that is what we want for everyone, really, is like the more time, especially those people with the little kids and the younger kids and, the kids that are in middle school, high school. You want that time just goes so quick, and you don't want to miss any of that by being stuck doing something you don't love doing. Okay, last couple, social. So this could be like more of your friend relationships too. Just like, again, connection, community, and fun. Like having those people that you can count on, lean on, hang out with, doing things in your community, and having that social aspect of your lives, because I am a manifestor, and I'm also, my human design profile is a 2/4. I love to hermit. I love to be by myself, but I'm also, so it's really, well, if you've got a 2/4 profile, you love to hermit, but then you also are like networking queen and love social things. So like with me, it kind of depends where my battery's at and what I'm doing, because yeah, there's some like certain social events where I'm like, and that's usually, well, I'm trying to think when like large groups of people, not my favorite. So I get kind of overwhelmed. But just knowing yourself and, I think having that connection just helps you get through life too, and knowing you're not alone in a physical sense. And the last one is inspiration. Might be one of my favorite areas of life. So this would be like travel, creativity, your passion or hobby, because it's good, if you get into that like heart-led career, that's not necessarily going to be, maybe you've got like another passion. So like maybe you're really passionate about golf. I don't know why that just came to my mind. But I mean, obviously, you're not like gonna be like Scotty Scheffler or anything and winning masters or whatever. Man, look at my analogies today. Everyone's probably like, who the fuck are you talking about? But anyways, like you're not doing your passion or hobby in order to be the best, or it's not like your heart-led career, but it's something you love doing, and you should totally be doing that, because I find a lot of the times like my inspiration, like my ideas for things, they happen when maybe I'm on a walk or running, doing things that I love, or just, oh my gosh, like being by water, being by a lake, being in the pool, things like that. Sometimes my best ideas come out of those places. So it's super, super important to have that inspiration in your life. So, okay, I said this was also going to be interactive. So I'm going to tell you that piece as well, since we went through. Okay, you could write these down: spiritual, love, mental, physical, purpose, wealth, social, and inspiration. And Honestly, I would go through and right now just rate yourself on like a scale of 1 to 10, like each area of your life. How are you currently feeling in that area? What do you value the most in those areas of life? And how do you want to feel? Because at the end of the day, it is all about how you want to feel um, when you are doing something. And a lot of the time, um, we don't even realize it. I think we get so distracted or addicted to numbing things out that you're just like, oh yeah, what I'm doing now is fine. But really, there's something out there for you that you're gonna love 100 times better. And so, just really gaining clarity on where you're at now. And if there's multiple areas that are like I don't love what I'm doing here, I would challenge you to just pick like one to focus on for a season. And when I say a season, I'm talking like we could do quarters if you want, if you're a quarter girly, or like the seasons are in quarters too. But it'd just be like, I mean, now we're still in the spring season, but coming, well, in about a month, actually, it'll be summer solstice. So summer will be here, high vibes. And I feel like everyone's got a lot more energy usually. So it's like maybe there's specific things that you really want to focus on one of the areas of your life, or even if you wanted to do it monthly. I think it's something you need to write down and keep track of, though, or else it's going to be something that just falls off. I've noticed personally, I definitely am better at, you know, gaining more clarity from these like little tasks or journaling if I'm consistent with it. So consistency is super important. And you'll learn that in a lot of areas of your of your life. But take the time to sit with those different areas. And I am going to leave notes like in the show notes so maybe you could just copy and paste them if you want to. And I'll leave each of them there. And I will also have ways to connect with me in the show notes. And that's about all I got today. My short and sweet episode was half an hour, guys. That's how it always works, isn't it? But that is fine. Thank you so, so much for listening. If you feel inclined to, I would really appreciate if you rate, share, like the podcast. And that just helps me get my word and message out to more people out there. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.